We're analyzing Chainlink today. We had a poll in our Telegram group, the Wolfpack Telegram group, link in the description, between ICP and Link, and Link was the winner by a bit of a long shot. So we've seen, the price movements, we've seen what Chainlink can do. If we jump into the fundamentals quickly before we get into the TA too deeply, we can see, just briefly, the fundamentals for Chainlink are, kind of complicated, so we'll have a brief overview, and I'll leave a few articles for you in the description if you are interested, that I found interesting in learning about Chainlink. But essentially, we can read out this quote here, which kind of captures what Chainlink is quite precisely here. So imagine the ideal protocol. It would have the most trustworthy third party imaginable, a deity who was on everyone's side. All the parties would send their inputs to God. God would reliably determine the results and return the outputs. God being the ultimate in confessional discretion, no party would learn anything more about the other party's inputs than they could learn from their own inputs and the output. So, we can kind of understand that Chainlink, and if we hop onto their website as well, we can understand that they kind of focus on, this whole, new idea that's come in the market, really, from 2018, but more recently in 2020, 2021, that is connecting and allowing blockchains to communicate with each other, in order to, as you can see here, turn real-world data into real-world events. So it is a use case that is worth understanding. To get a better and in-depth understanding, I would recommend doing your own research. It is just a bit complicated to describe in one video. It's not really something you can put into one sentence. But we can see here, in terms of a TA, we can see, the Chainlink kind of came onto the market here in 2017. It didn't really get much heat at all, barely any traction during the 2018 bull market, 2017 bull market. Basically very, very unknown at that point in time. It was very new, and it probably didn't have much going for it. Interoperability wasn't really a massive component of that bull market. But we can see that Chainlink's supply is creeping up ever so slightly. We're at 45% circulating supply, the max supply being 1 billion. So obviously in the next bull market, we'll be even closer to that 1 billion mark, in which we could be seeing, some, intense supply demand start to take place. So the time to accumulate Chainlink obviously was down here, but in comparison to the next bear market, and if Chainlink is going to stay relevant in the market, which it looks like it is, we've got a partnership, for example, with, Google Cloud, which is just absolutely massive. We've got HBAR, we've got Reserve Network, we've got massive partnerships, Swipe, SXP, massive partnerships in the market with Chainlink. It looks like it'll probably be sticking around. Whether the time is to accumulate is now or when the bear market comes is the big question, but definitely is something worth considering, as it would likely, I'm not going to say for certain, but it would likely stick around into the next bull market, wherein this supply would be significantly more competitive. So what we can see from Chainlink, if we head over to the 1-day chart, we saw this kind of run up here. We started off quite early on Chainlink, actually. If you remember, I'm not going to zoom out all the way, but we had a bit of a run in early 2020 to mid 2020 on Chainlink before most of the market took off here in August, and we ran up at a massive amount. Actually, if we just zoom out a little bit, we can probably see around 11 to 12x over the course of that period from June last year, so about a year. So pretty big gains there for Chainlink. It put us in a decent position. Right now, Chainlink is top 16th in terms of market cap. Great, coin in terms of a large cap exposure. I remember specifically during the bear market, Chainlink being one of the only coins that was rallying in the later parts of the bear market. Obviously, when that 2020 kind of late 2020 pump started to happen, Chainlink definitely picked up as well. But what we can see on the Chainlink is that run up. We saw a kind of gradual movement in which we didn't really see much, correction in terms of any correction at all, really. We kind of consolidated a little bit here in that March period, but other than that, we were at a straight upwards trend, essentially. We broke that trend line when the May capitulation happened. We roughly kind of retested that trend line as resistance here, and we failed to take it back, so we headed down further on Chainlink. If we draw a little arrow there, we headed down further. past our expected support zone, our green box here between $20.5 and $17. I was expecting to hold. It didn't hold. We fell down to $13. However, we did manage to pick up some Chainlink around $17 or $18 in this green box. So we are up pretty substantially on Chainlink. If we go from 18, just for higher estimate here, we can see that we were up, roughly 67% on Chainlink. Even though we didn't get the bottom, we got something pretty close to it, and we were only below that point, for less than a few weeks anyway. So I wouldn't expect Chainlink to visit those levels again. I very, very might, expect it to bounce off the top of this green support zone again, but I'm not going to say anything about that. I think that the market trend is upwards. I'm just a little bit worried about this potential red September we might be happening. Regardless of that, we can pull up some indicators on Chainlink. We can see that through the MACD here, we can see that we're coming in. We saw a bearish cross in the MACD and we're trending downwards, which is perfectly healthy. What we can observe is every other time we've seen if we zoom up, every time we've seen a bearish MACD cross, within a few days this correction has been over. So we've got 4 days between the cross and the correction being over here in February. Here in April we had, let's see, 2 days between the cross and the correction being over, and in May, which was a bit of a standoff event, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days. So far from this correction, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the correction should be coming to an end. This red candle 5 days in could have actually been the bottom, which bottomed out at about $23.70. So we could be bottomed out here for Chainlink. We are struggling to hold on to this support zone at around $25.92, in which we have this doji candle, which is representing that, there's basically an even amount of buying pressure and selling pressure. Whether we'll hold this support zone kind of depends on, what will happen next on Bitcoin. But let's just draw out a few scenarios so we can hold the support zone, bounce around for a bit, and head back up as Bitcoin retakes 50K and heads up to 51, in which case we'll probably be testing the top of this resistance area between bouncing between this area for a while until Bitcoin makes its next move from there. If we drop below the support zone, we can see that we have a few brief support zones here that I haven't drawn out at around $22, in which we'll probably be looking for a few retests in the future. So nothing major, but we can see, if we bring up some indicators, we can see that this 50 SMA might catch us, which is currently sitting at around $22.16. If we drop below, and the 200-day SMA will be the resistance area we're looking at taking if we jump back up. We can look at a few more indicators here to get a bit of an idea of the long-term price action. So we have the 50 SMA and the 200-day SMA. We have the bull market support band, which is basically, in which we're currently bouncing in between actually the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA, which is the two lines here on this bull market support band. We're kind of retested both the top and the bottom of that in the last few days. So we'll probably be looking to break out of that in order to just get a clarification on precise price action. When we break out to the upside, I'd be looking to long. When we break out to the downside, I'd be looking to short on a longer term scale. Right now, we're in a bit of an indecisive territory. We have the Gaussian channel. We can see something a bit similar going on. Not necessarily, we've bounced off the Gaussian channel in these last couple of daily closes if we zoom in, and we're kind of holding it for support as of current. So that would support the bull scenario. If we zoom back out, we can bring in a bit of a volume profile here. And the volume, as we can see, the point of control is right below the current price at around $25.38. So we have a lot of support in this region, for which I would probably label this a decent buying area for Chainlink. I don't see us dropping below this area. It could happen. I'd say there's probably a 20% chance of it happening off the top of my head. Definitely could happen. As I said, if we did drop below that area, we'll probably go to around $22, in which we'll find support from the 50 SMA. But as of current, we're looking okay. And this does rely on Bitcoin not having a red September. But I think this area is fine for accumulation, especially considering the cyclical theory pointing to a bullish end of year. Looking on the Bitcoin pair for Chainlink, we can see basically a gradual upwards trend. Chainlink didn't really have a bull market in 2018, as I've said before, so we didn't really see much, performance from Chainlink. We saw a small little blip here. That was the entire bull market for Chainlink. It just was not well known enough. But this bull market has certainly been extensive, and even from as far back as 2019, we've been gaining against Bitcoin on Chainlink. We've made, repeated spikes up after retesting this trend line. So we saw a retest here, we spiked up as a result. We saw a retest back here in December 2020, spiked up as a result. We've recently retested here, and we haven't spiked up yet, but we will be looking to make that spike in the coming weeks. Now, what we can expect from this spike, seeing as, recently this high was only made in August, I would probably expect Chainlink to go to new all-time highs on this spike in the Bitcoin pair, seeing as in August last year we weren't in a full altcoin season. Obviously, Chainlink was, the coin of the month in August and September, in which it gathered a lot of attention. But in a full-blown altcoin season, Chainlink, doesn't really have these unachievable highs to beat like the highs made on 2018 for most coins, because most coins that have made highs on the Bitcoin pair probably are not going to get to their highs on the Bitcoin pair again, due to the fact that in 2018 there was significantly less altcoins in the market and therefore significantly less competition. Money was not very spread out as it is now into micro caps and stuff like that. But Chainlink, very achievable to bounce up and take this all-time high. We can see some sort of double bottom that we've formed here on a smaller scale, in which we saw a drop down to this 4,000, 5,000 sat area, a bounce back up, and a double bottom again here at this 4,000, 5,000 sat area. So logically, we'll be looking to take a stab at this resistance zone in the coming months, possibly the coming weeks, into December, and January is typically where altcoins perform. So by that point, we might be expecting to make new all-time highs on the Bitcoin pair. If we look on the weekly chart for an overall price prediction on Chainlink, where am I expecting Chainlink to go? This is very interesting because usually I take my predictions and I make them based off what happened in the last bull market, but obviously Chainlink didn't really have much of a bull market, so we have to make a bit of a rough prediction in line with what Bitcoin is doing. Now, Bitcoin reached its all-time high this year at around 64k. I'm expecting Bitcoin's all-time high. This is based off my predictions on Bitcoin. I'm expecting Bitcoin's all-time high to reach 120k. 120k to 150k by December to May, I've established, or December to April, I've established in my Telegram group. If you're not familiar with that prediction, go ahead and watch the post there and read it, or you can watch the video on my YouTube channel. But 120k to 150k by December to April 2022. So, what I'm expecting for Chainlink is obviously Bitcoin will at least, and this is my conservative estimate, so coming from the bottom of the spectrum, Bitcoin will 2x from its current all-time high. And then seeing as Bitcoin 2x'd, altcoins usually, perform, as Bitcoin has performed, and then another 50% on top of that. That's just a general basis on which altcoins perform more than Bitcoin. Obviously, it depends on market cap, but seeing as Chainlink is a top 20 coin, I'm expecting about 150% performance, in which Chainlink will reach 160 USD. And that is just based off what Bitcoin has done this year and what Bitcoin might do according to my, my theories on what's happening for the end of the bull market. That is a very conservative prediction. It might not seem like it with the price reaching a max of $52. It might not seem conservative, but it is only a 3x from Chainlink's all-time high. And if you haven't experienced a bull market before, you wouldn't know how these coins move when altcoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance drops massively. This is very conservative, I'd say. I will say 100 USD, if we point out 100 USD, would probably be a good profit-taking zone. What I like to do with coins like this is as it reaches the 100 USD milestone, obviously we're going to see a massive sell-off at 100 USD. Whether we go up or not from there is the question. But we usually see sell-offs as that is a massive psychological resistance zone where people will be taking profits. So I like to sell at 100 USD and then wait for it to be broken before we're re-entering, as that is confirmation that we will be heading higher than that point. We have seen coins in the past just simply fall down from those psychological resistance zones and never recover. So it's not a risk worth taking. So under that logic, you should be expecting at least 100 USD. That's just my opinion. 160 USD will be my prediction for Chainlink by the end of the cycle. That's not based off Chainlink's fundamentals. That's not based off technical partnerships. That's not based off any of the previous cycles. It is purely a prediction based off, Bitcoin's run up and Chainlink's run-up and general altcoin run-ups as a result of that. So this is not a specific prediction like WAN chain, like my WAN chain prediction, where I predict they will reach a certain price based off, events that are happening. This is just a general market prediction that I apply to all coins that I don't really have a better reason to predict with them. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns or recommendations for new videos, make sure to leave them in the comment section below or message me on Telegram. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.